What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we are finally going to talk about my Spider-Man comic book idea. Now this was something that I teased like hell in my last review of Shazam. So I thought it was finally time to tell you about my idea for a new comic book version of Spider-Man. So before I start, I just want to say, yes, I know there are a lot of different types of Spider-Man. Hell, there's probably a couple thousand by now at this point. But this idea is something that I think no one has ever thought about or done before. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about it and get that copyright infringement. And, you know, just kind of, get some people excited. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So I want to talk about, the first thing I want to talk about this is the issue. Like, because I was thinking about names. Like I was thinking about names of the issue. And my first idea was like, In the Family issue 1 Spider-Man. But I was like, nah, that's a little on the nose. What if I called it Son of Parker issue 1 Spider-Man? So I was like, okay, that's a little bit better. So I'm still thinking of the issue. I'm even thinking about issue names. That's how much I care about this idea of mine. So that's how good I think it is. So let's go ahead and see if you guys think it's any good. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So let's talk about the brand new character that I'm making up. So this is a brand new character. Obviously, this is someone you never saw before, and who's going to be Spider-Man. So let's talk about this. So what was my inspiration for this? I'm sure that's what your guys' question is going to be. So let me go ahead and talk about it. So my inspiration for this was, one day I was sitting there kind of watching Spider-Man or kind of thinking about Spider-Man. And I was thinking to myself, why didn't Aunt May and Uncle Ben never have a kid? So I thought about it and I was like, that would make a great story. And then then the ideas started going in my head. And then I came up with this idea of them having a kid and him getting bit by the spider instead of Peter. So obviously Peter would still be living with Uncle Ben and Aunt May, but he would have this older cousin of his. And with these two characters, I would want like a brotherly relationship with Peter and this character. I'm gonna name him Adam. I think Adam Parker works. Adam Richard Parker. That's what we're going with. I like it. Let me know you guys got a better name. I like the name. So Adam and Peter, I want them to have this brotherly relationship. And as I continue, you're gonna see why, and you're gonna see why real fast. So let's talk about Adam real quick. Let's talk about this character. So age, he's gonna be 17 years old. I'm gonna make him a teenager. I'm gonna put him in high school. I'm gonna go with senior year. I think senior year of high school would be pretty good, or junior or senior year. And then all right, so he's gonna have a bit more of a darker sense of humor than Peter, but not too dark. Like, he's not gonna talk about like death jokes or anything like that. But he is gonna be a little bit on the darker side as far as like, he's not gonna be brutal. Well, he will be a little bit more brutal than Spider-Man, but not to the extent of where he's, breaking bones and like, doing anything crazy like that. He's not gonna be doing anything like that. But he will be a little bit more rougher than Spider-Man usually is. Alright, so he acts like he doesn't care, but he actually does care. So that's one of the things that I wanted to change about him is, obviously with Spider-Man and Peter Parker, he always shows that he cares. He always shows that he actually is like, you're okay or whatever. But no, this Adam is like, no. Like he'll kind of look over at something and he'll look like his face will like dead stone, like he don't really care. But in reality, he's probably thinking to himself like, that sucks, or that I feel bad for him, type of thing. Like he does care, but he doesn't. But he does care, but he doesn't show it all the time. At least it's hard for him to really show it. He's popular in high school. That is another big thing I wanted to change about with Peter and Adam. Is Adam is is the popular kid in high school. He is a kid who, you know, that many people look up to. He is a character. He is a person who that the girls really like. He is just a good character. People really like him. He is an average guy. He is a popular character, but he is an average guy. But he is a very good-looking character. He will be a very good-looking character. Sometimes he will be a little bit rude. Sometimes if teacher kind of gets on his nerves in class, he will kind of like, not mouth off, but he will kind of say some sarcastic remark, or he'll be a bit of a douche just to kind of get back at him. Because sometimes the teachers can be a bit of a bitch or a bit of an asshole. So you know, I wanted to have some stuff with that. Sometimes he's quick to anger. So this is another thing I wanted to change with Peter and Adam, is that Adam is going to be very quick to anger sometimes. Sometimes, not all the times. It is hard to really get on his nerves, but like every one of us, we have one or two things that as soon as that of certain button or a certain thing is pressed, we kind of just quickly go lying on people's asses. And that's what I wanted to establish with this character, is there is going to be a couple moments and a couple instances where it's going to take one little thing or two little things to just set him off. So that was something I really wanted to do too. And he has issues with his dad. With Uncle Ben, obviously, because you know, a typical teenager has issues with parents, you know, things like that, which will obviously correlate and you know, push the narrative forward about, you know, when Uncle Ben eventually does die, because he will die. Like, I will have him die in the story, but it's going to be more stretched out than it was in the original Spider-Man and Peter Parker. It's going to be stretched out, so we're not going to do it like the first couple issues. It's going to be a little bit more kind of wait for it type of thing. It's going to be probably a different death. It's probably going to be a different different way of death and a different you know, finding out of the death. So I did want to switch that up a little bit. I really wanted to make the big change of seeing how, like, you know, because one of the interesting things about Peter Parker was when, you know, when he did get his powers, he was focused on, you know, impressing the girls and, you know, making money and stuff. But obviously this character doesn't need to impress girls. Obviously this character doesn't need to worry about popularity. He doesn't need to worry about being famous. He just kind of wants to, you know, get some quick money, and, you know, he is a little bit greedy at first with the powers and stuff. I really wanted to drag that out because again, when Peter first got his powers, it wasn't dragged out. It was very short and simple, and you know, then it was straight to the point. But I wanted to drag it out a little bit more, especially at school. About what he'd be like if he was, you know, messing around with his powers or stuff like that at school, or with the girls or whatever. Like, kind of drag it out a bit. So that was what I wanted to do. So what else can I say about this? Let's talk about Peter Parker. I think Peter Parker is a character y'all are very, very interested to hear about what I'm going to do with Peter in this story. So like I said earlier in the video, he's going to be more of this brotherly character to Adam. He's going to be the little brother that looks up to him type of thing. Obviously when they both finally, you know, we come to terms with the whole Uncle Ben scenario, but even before the whole Uncle Ben death, you know, obviously, you know, when Adam first gets his powers, he's going to need to tell somebody, but obviously he's going to Peter's obviously going to accidentally find out sooner or later. So I wanted him to keep a secret by having him kind of help him out with some things. Like, you know, like I want Peter obviously to make him the web shooters. I want him to be his little tech assistant, his little tech guide. You know what I mean? Like his little tech his little tech guy. He's gonna be his little tech guy. He's gonna be his guy in the chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna be just his tech guy. So he's gonna make him the web shooters. He's gonna make him all the little gadgets and gizmos and tech. It's gonna be really cool. And the suit is probably gonna be a little bit more techy. Probably the design, I'll probably make it red and black. Go with like a red and black design with more of a techie style of like the lining and the suit details. Maybe a couple of armor pieces on certain areas, like the shoulders and the forearms and the leg pieces maybe. And that's just I don't have a picture, but that's just you can imagine. You can imagine the suit, I'm sure. So what else can I say? So I think one of my favorite things about this story is going to be telling the Peter Parker story like if he didn't have powers. I think that's probably going to be my favorite thing. I think one of my favorite stories that I would write about like if I was given the chance to make this into an actual comic book, I think one of my favorite stories would probably be making the story about Gwen and Peter. I think I would really want to focus on that when they're in middle school together. I would love to have a scene where Adam and Peter are talking about, asking Gwen to the middle school dance with Peter, and kind of like have Adam push Peter a little bit to do it, and kind of be there for each other, help each other out. Again, that brotherly relationship. And I really wanted to establish about this idea that it's easier not to be Spider-Man. It's way harder. It's not fun. like I wanted to show the big difference. I think that's what's going to be the best. That would be the best part about this series, would be how different it is for Peter to not be Spider-Man and to finally actually be with the woman he loves, and to have those relationships, and to have and not have to sit there and be like, oh, I'm running late, even though he's web slinging and webbing up criminals and stuff. He's not going to be doing that no more in the story. He's going to be an actual boy who's growing up and getting like that. That's kind of probably going to be my favorite things to write about in the story. And again, back to that brotherly love type of relationship with those two characters. And I think another great story. Again, this is probably not going to happen. I'm just going to lay all my cards on the table and tell you guys some of the story ideas that I would love to do. Like, obviously, I would love to have a reference to Spider-Man, to the Peter Parker Spider-Man, by having him wear the suit. Because, like I said, I'm probably going to have it a little bit more armored. So therefore, I can actually have him wear the suit 1 or 2 times in the story. And, like obviously that's not going to be like, that would probably be, like, when I finally would do it, it would probably happen at maybe issue 50, 75, 100, maybe. I don't know about 100, maybe 50 or 75. I'd probably do it around there. Like, have him actually in the suit, or like, something like that. And I know what you're all going to say. I know you're going to say, well, Mike, he's not as tall as him, right? Which is true. He's probably going to make another one, which is going to be funny, because it's going to be like, 2 Spider-Mans? What's happening? And then I can have a story like that, and that would be kind of funny. It'd be great stuff. A lot of great stuff. I want to talk about villains now. Finally, I want to get to the villain aspect. Talk a little bit about more of the school, a little bit more of the character surrounding the Atom. So, obviously, like I said, this is about a new character, and Peter Parker is much, much younger, and he's in middle school. And obviously, we're not going to see Gwen Stacy. We're not going to see MJ. We're not going to see Harry. We will see them, but we're not going to see them as high schoolers. We're going to see them as kids. They're going to be little kids in middle school. We're not going to see Flash Thompson. He's going to be, the same age as Peter. They're going to be in middle school. We're not going to really see them too often. Therefore, I have a bunch of new characters that I would have to write, which I haven't I haven't written them all, but there are a lot of new characters that I have swimming in my head about who I would make, his friend group, what's it gonna be, what are gonna be some of his girlfriends, is he gonna have some exes, like things like that. There's a lot of ideas going around in my head. But the villains, I want to talk about Black Cat specifically, because Black Cat was always depicted in the comics as a little bit older than Peter Parker Spider-Man, or about the same age, but still slightly above his age type of thing. It's always a little bit above his age, just a little slightly. She is always depicted as kind of older than him. So I had this idea, well, okay, what if she is maybe in the same high school as Adam? What if that way I can kind of expand on the whole Black Cat and Spider-Man relationship a little bit more, even though it's not Peter Parker, but still. That way, and it can have some great tension moments, them kind of like, maybe like they know who each other are, and they're just kind of looking at each other in like class, like, yeah, I know you were robbing that store last night, bitch. Like things like that. Like just have those little moments where those eye tension moments. I don't know. I thought that would be fun. So other villains. Probably gonna have a couple new ones in here. I'll probably make some ones up. But I do want to obviously bring back the classic villains like Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus obviously isn't going to be like 30 years old. He's going to be like in his 20s. He's going to be a little younger. A lot of these villains are going to be in their spry. They're going to be really young. Which they were young. They are young in the Peter Parker comics, but in the Peter Parker Spider-Man comics and Amazing Fantasy, but I mean like they're younger. Like they're not like they become who they are at a younger age, which I thought would be a little bit more interesting and a little bit more fun to do. Damn, that sneeze was rough. But I think one of my favorite things, like talking about new villains, I think would be so I actually had this crazy idea before I started. I remember this Q&A video I did. I did a Q&A video. So long story short, I did this Q&A video, and someone asked me to make a new Spider-Man villain. I ended up making this villain called Blazing Star. I don't know if some of you remember her, but I made this character, and at that time, I was like, okay, this is Peter Parker Spider-Man villain that I'm making, so that's who it's going to be for. So I didn't really have any ideas of, if it was going to be a personal relationship or if it was going to be someone he didn't know or whatever. But because this is my story of my new version of Spider-Man, because of that, I can make this character however I want. So I gave her a name. I want to call her Jenny. I don't know what I'm thinking of a last name yet, but probably something ironic. Like I don't know, like Spice Girl or something like that. Something like that. Something stupid and ironic like that. But basically Jenny's gonna so I wanted to call the girl Jenny. It's gonna be Blazing Star. So for those of you who don't know who Blazing Star is, this character that I made up. So basically she has the power to turn on fire. Like she can just starts from her hair. She's a blonde so she's a blonde and her hair kind of changes colors with her powers. So it starts from her hair and it kind of goes all over her body. She has three forms. She has a red one, she has a yellow one, and she has a blue form. Blue is obviously the hottest version of her. Wink, wink. The hottest version. But that's how she is, and her emotions trigger her powers. I don't remember exactly how I did her origin story. I think I did her origin story in my Q&A. I don't really remember at this point right now, but I would do that origin story. I would have this set in the high school. I'd probably have this be like an ex-girlfriend or like a girl that he knows, a really personal relationship, to the point where he may or may not have to take off his mask just to calm her down. because, like I said, she's probably going to get to a point. Again, very emotional character, powered character. So that's going to be that would be a very interesting story to tell, and a very depending on which way I would go with that story, good or bad or whatever. But yeah, that was my story. I mean, I know I only gave you a couple ideas or a couple books that I would do, or storylines. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, like I said, like I'm willing to stretch the story out. I'm really to go. I would really do a comic book of this. I would really love to write the script for this. I would really love to write the narrative, because like I got so many ideas for this, and I really love this idea because, again, it's the idea of what if it was Uncle Ben's own flesh and blood? What if it was Uncle Ben's kid who got bit by the spider? And, you know, I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a really different take, because we have so many different types of Spider-Man, but I think, you know, this is special. This is something very special to me, at least. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like this idea? Do you think that it could use a little bit more work or a little bit more polish? What would you guys like to do or add to this story or to this character? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you for watching. And I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.